in so many different circumstances. The trouble is we don't really believe that anymore. It's one of the reasons I'm running for president. I know this nation has been a place of almost limitless possibility for me. You see, I have traveled and lived and worked all over the world for decades. I've done business, I've done charity, I've done policy work in every corner of the globe. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that it is only in this nation that a young woman can start out the way I did, typing, filing, answering the phones for a little 9-person real estate firm in the middle of a deep recession in the late 70s. Go on one day to become the chief executive of what we turned into the largest technology company in the world and run for the presidency of the United States. That is only possible in this great nation. But it is also true, I must tell you, that along the way I've had a lot of people tell me to sit down and be quiet. Don't rock the boat. Don't challenge the system. Just settle for the way things are. And I have ignored that advice all of my life. I am running for the presidency because I believe the American people are being given this same advice. And I think we've been told this for too long now. I think we're being told to sit down and be quiet about our God, about our guns, about the horrors of the abortion industry. I think we're being asked to settle. Settle for a nation where now record numbers of men are out of work. Record numbers of women are living in poverty. Our young people don't even know the American dream is real anymore. Despite all the speeches from all the politicians over the years, working families' incomes have stagnated for 40 years. We're now destroying the job creators in this nation. The job creators of this nation have always been and will always be new, small, family-owned businesses and farms, and we are destroying them. And that matters because new, small, family-owned businesses and farms create 2/3 of the new jobs and employ half the people. And meanwhile, while we're being asked to settle for all of this, the truth is the rich get richer, the powerful get more powerful, and the well-connected get better connected. I think we're being asked to accept a system of government and politics that no longer works for us. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The government has gotten bigger, more powerful, and spends more of your money every year, year after year, and it's been going on for 50 years. The government's gotten bigger and more powerful for 50 years under Republicans and Democrats alike. And this government is a vast, bloated, inept, corrupt bureaucracy. Yes, exactly. Yes. You know it, I know it, and 80% of our fellow Americans know it. There are loads of examples. The Department of Homeland Security admits to us the other day that they have no idea who's overstaying their visa. They admit to us that they were given 12 years ago tons of money and a mandate to go build a system to do it. And 12 years later, guess what? The money's gone, there is no system, and they're in the planning phase. This government cannot secure the border, it cannot serve our veterans. It's inept and corrupt in that it picks winners and losers. And by the way, ask yourself this. How many times have you had presidential candidates roll through Iowa and promise you to change it? How often have we heard about, we're going to reduce the size of government, we're going to reform the tax code, we're going to reform Social Security, we're going to secure the border. We've been talking about these things, ladies and gentlemen, for 25 years, and the politicians haven't delivered. None of them have. You see, I don't know about you, but I'm angry. I'm frustrated, and I'm fed up. And I think we got to do something different now. We can solve these problems, but only if we remember who we are and what we were intended to be. Ours was intended to be a citizen government. We were never intended to have a professional political class, people who spend their whole life running and winning, say whatever they gotta say, and then do whatever they please. So citizens, I'm running for the presidency of the United States because I think we have to restore a citizen government. Citizens, I think it's time. We have to take our future back. We have to take our politics and our government back. Citizens, it is time. We must take our country back. And that's why I've rolled out the blueprint to take our country back. You have it on your tables in front of you. I want you to walk out of this high-V holding onto that piece of paper. Because you see, I wrote it down because I want you to hold me accountable. I wrote it down because We need to get these things done, and we will get them done together in the first term. I wrote it down because I want to come back here and say, how are we doing on this? You see, I come from the world that you do, which is we know actions speak louder than words. We know talk is cheap. We know that you judge someone's character not by what they say, but by what they do. Now, you know what, folks? We don't ever hold politicians accountable, do we? Do we hold them accountable for promising something and never delivering? Do we hold our government accountable for anything? No, we do not. And I was amused early on in my presidential campaign when I had a reporter ask me, a reporter here in Iowa, say to me, you know, Carly, you're not used to the level of accountability and scrutiny that presidential candidates are used to. Really? Let me tell you what I had to do as a chief executive. Every 90 days, by the way, HP was a pretty complicated place. We turned it into a $90 billion company. We operated in 153 countries. We had over 160,000 employees. It was a big, complicated place. And yet, every 90 days, I had to stand up in public. And I had to report out our results in great detail in public. And then I had to answer every question in public. And then I had to talk about what we wanted to do the next 90 days, the next year, the next 2 years, in public. And answer every single one of those questions. And if I misrepresented our results or our intentions, I would be held criminally liable. Now imagine if we held politicians to this standard. So you know what? I think you want accountability, and I think you want results, and I think you want leadership, and that's what I offer, and that's why I wrote this blueprint down.